Hello and welcome to Big Weekend here on the Football365 show. I'm your host Mark Smith. I'm here as ever with Editor-in-Chief of Football365.com, Sarah Winterburn. We've got a lot to get stuck into today. We've got the Merseyside derby. We're going to talk about Dean Smith for a bit, and we'll also see if Sarah Winterburn wants to stick the boot in anymore to Manchester United and Ollie. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe and also press the little notification bell. That means you won't miss an episode going forward. This is Big Weekend, brought to you by Paddy Power. Right, Sarah, lots to get stuck into, so let's start, shall we, with the Merseyside derby. Now, this is the first time in a long time where this game, to my eyes at least, it could be any score, any result. Don't know what's going to happen here, no idea.
Well, we don't really know what's going to happen in most Premier League games at the moment, do we? But this one particularly, It just screams, doesn't it? This could be anything. This is a massively in-form Everton, top of the league, quite deservedly so as well, playing great football. Playing against a Liverpool side that had a little bit of a kick in, didn't it, just before the international break? You know, wounds are open, bruises are yet to heal, etc., all the other cliches. Throw in the derby, anything could happen, which is absolutely nonsense in recent years because anything couldn't happen. Liverpool won every time. That was the way it worked. Yep. But this one could be different. And it's proper, isn't it? Because you've had the international break. You never quite know what's going to happen after that. There's going to be a few names and faces missing from each team. It feels the most level we've seen it for a while, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's an absolute lottery. Like I don't know which way to swing on this one. Like, if I was a betting man, which I am, I would probably go with just both teams to score on this one. The only result I can't see is a 0-0 here. But generally speaking, it's a shame. It's probably been 3 or 4 games so far since lockdown where I felt really disappointed there's no fans in. And this is definitely one of them, because I feel like if there was an Everton home crowd there, I might just side with them for this one. But as it is, like you say, anything can happen. It could be 4-4, it could be 1-0, I don't know. I fancy Calvert Lewin to do something special.
I think a sensible shout with every Premier League game at the moment is back both teams to score. I think you'll win more often than you lose.
Yeah, I think so. Well, with that in mind then, let's move on to Man City at home to Arsenal. Both teams to score in this one, I imagine, as well, Sarah.
All of them. Both teams scoring all of the games forever now.
Okay.
Because this is what football's like. Just goals, loads of them. And no defending. We've had enough of defending, haven't we?
No need.
All of the scoring. City Arsenal is quite fascinating because Arsenal are clearly getting better and better under Mikel Arteta, whilst Manchester City are progressively getting worse and worse under Pep Guardiola. So you kind of get the idea that they might well meet in the middle somewhere. Arsenal have been wonderfully dull, haven't they, with this season? It's just kind of not a lot to see here, but kind of doing pulling out some really un-Arsenal-like performances.
It's effective though, isn't it? Yeah.
Un-Arsenal-like results. Yeah, it's almost like Gareth Southgate's England, isn't it? You kind of don't quite know why it should work, and at times it doesn't look like it might work, and then they go and win 2 or 3-1, and you think, oh, okay, maybe I've got this wrong altogether. I think City will be better. I think they've had a little bit of time now. I think the criticism probably has stung quite badly over the last few weeks, and I think those players as well have had a bit more of a chance to get used to each other. I know a lot of them been away on international duty, but still, even the 2 or 3 days they'll get at the end of this week will make a big difference, I think. Yeah,
definitely. I always fancy City in this fixture. I mean, it's been tough for Arsenal generally. Having said that, the FA Cup showed that Arsenal have got enough weapons and enough now organisation in their ranks that they can sit a bit deeper and they can play to a game plan and they can just go, you know what, we're going to have 3 opportunities in the game and we fancy that Lacazette or Aubameyang can do something with that. So let's wait and see.
Expect Man City to have about 75% possession in this. I think that would be my tip here.
That's your tip. My tip is Sterling to score any time, if you're asking. Let's move on. Dean Smith, big weekend for him. I don't know how difficult it must be to have a result like that for Villa against Liverpool and then have all your players go away for a week on international duty. I would imagine he would prefer to have just got on with it and get the momentum going. So it's a big weekend for him to see if he can get them back and get them firing again.
Yeah, momentum is your friend, isn't it, in football, particularly if you're not one of the big teams who've got that sort of winning mentality or winning history to kind of fall back on, and that sort of muscle memory that the players at Liverpool and Man City have, where they just know how to win games. Aston Villa are different. They had a difficult season last time around. This certainly feels a lot better this season. They've recruited absolutely brilliantly. But like you say, that start, and it's only been 3 games for them. They've only had 3 games as opposed to Everton's 4. So it does feel a little flimsier possibly than Everton's start. But yeah, going again this weekend is massive. And huge credit to Dean Smith, who I thought was under massive pressure at the end of last season and probably at the start of this as well. A lot of question marks as to whether he really had anything like the X factor to lead a team into the top half of the table. So it's a massive test for him, particularly this weekend, playing another team that in and around, I hate in and around, why have I just said in and around that area of the league table.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester away, this is a very tough game, but having just beaten Liverpool 7-2, you'd feel as a Villa fan or player or manager or coach or anyone connected with the club at all, that you can do damage against any team in world football. So why not go to Leicester? Leicester just lost home to West Ham 3-0, so literally anything can happen. I do wonder if Grealish's England situation, that might play a factor in this, but I don't know. I like watching Villa, and I shouldn't really say that as a supporter of Derby County, who they beat in the final of the playoffs recently. But you know what? Arrest me. Let's move on. It's Palace against Brighton. This is it's a derby. Is it a derby? Do we call it a derby? Whatever it is, it's very fiercely contested.
People get very angry if you start questioning why this is a derby. So just carry on, move along.
But it's fiercely contested, Sarah. It's always a good one to watch. How do you see this one going? Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, every game feels massive at the moment, doesn't it? Especially after an international break, when we're so giddy to get Premier League football back that I'd quite happily watch any of these teams play any of these teams at any point. Apart from I won't pay $14.95 for them, obviously.
Of course not.
Palace obviously started like a train, then as usual hit obstacles because that's what they do. They win 2, lose 2, draw 4. That's what they do. They play in spurts. Brighton, funny team, aren't they? You kind of think they should be much better. Obviously,
playing great.
Obviously missing a goal scorer. Some of the football he plays brilliant. Obviously, I need to mention Tariq Lamptey here. I'm in love with him. Full stop.
Yeah, well, contractually, you have to mention that. Yeah,
I have to do. Yeah, we're sponsored by Tariq Lamptey now, aren't we? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, Palace need something here, don't they? Because that the euphoria of those first 2 games could quite easily turn to worry, couldn't it? Quite quickly. They're a team that could finish 8th or they could finish 17th, and it's something they really need to arrest that slide quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, and that's something worth noting, I think, given how crazy the last sort of 8 months have been in the world, but in football as well. The fickle nature of fans and boards won't change, and it'll only take a couple of weeks of bad results to suddenly have a manager on the back foot and under pressure. I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I can't really split these two, so I'm going to go with a draw. I think it'd be a pretty good result for both sides. It would certainly get Brighton off to some sort of earning points, which is something they need at the moment. Let's move on. I think this is a big weekend, Sarah, for Rhian Brewster.
He's got a lot to prove now, hasn't he? Because he's kind of been left behind. There's a lot of these young players, Mason Greenwood, Eddie Nketiah. They've been kept on by their clubs. Rhian Brewster's been sold by Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool are the best team in the country at the moment, so their bars are higher. But it's quite the test of him, isn't it? He has to go and score, 15 or more goals. And Sheffield United do need him to score 15 or more goals because they've got so little goal threat. I mean, striker-wise, they are massively short. They've got workers, they've got intelligence.
They specialise in strikers who don't score goals.
Oh yeah, none of them scored. I mean, I think their top scorer was 5 or 6 last year, and no one looked like they were going to get much more than that at any point. They are so in desperate, dire need of a finisher, and we haven't seen enough of Brewster outside of the Championship to know if he's anything more than a finisher. But actually, that might be all they need.
Just the sharp point to a pretty interesting attack, I think, for Sheffield United. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And also, if he was going to pick a fixture to start his Sheffield United career, it would surely be Fulham at home, wouldn't it? I'd imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the gimme, isn't it? Fulham already relegated by some incredibly good bookies. Now facing, just a long season of getting battered most weeks, I imagine. And every striker will really fancy playing against them every week, won't they? That's the one you're going to look out for, isn't it? That's where you're putting your fantasy captain or whatever is whoever's playing Fulham that week. It could be a long season for them, but I think it might be a great start for Rhian Brewster.
Yeah, when your owner is talking about replacing his centre-backs after 2 games, you know it's not great for Fulham at the back. Let's move on to our final choice for this week. It is Newcastle United at home to Manchester United. I'm going with a United away win here, but I also want to hear your thoughts and see if you want to give 2 more barrels to Ollie and United ahead of this game.
I agree with you that Man United will win this game. I think even this Man United, which is an absolute mess and is nowhere near the team that they should be, under nowhere near the manager they should have, will still be enough to beat Newcastle. I think, this Newcastle side, they've had 2 great wins, haven't they? And in between they've been terrible. And I think we're going to get that all season from them. They're going to come in and out and in and out. They've got Callum Wilson who can score some goals. So they will kind of do okay. They'll keep them out of the relegation trouble. But I don't think they're going to turn up against Man United on Saturday night. And United only have to be at 60% to win that game. They've probably been operating at about 54%, but it's not a massive leap, is it, to get to 60?
No.
It's next to waiting to happen, this Man United setup, isn't it? Solskjaer, I'm still convinced, will be gone. There's no way he will be manager this time next year. I can't imagine that could be the case. It's gross negligence if he is, without a massive, massive improvement in performances. But they will do just enough in the next couple of games to just keep their heads above water and keep him in a job, I think. And it will rumble on until there's a series of events that force him out of the door, I think.
Yeah, I think this game away at Newcastle is absolutely a must-win.
It is, and I
just
think
because
they will
of their start
win
to the season.
Yeah, I think they're under massive pressure if they don't win this game. But I do think they've probably got enough. Even without Anthony Martial, but might be a good thing if we end up with Mason Greenwood up front and Juan Mata coming in on the right. They're going to have plenty of the ball. They're not going to have. Yeah. It's not going to be this kind of game where they're breaking at pace. So someone like Mata could actually make a difference in that game. And I think I would think they're going to win that quite easily. And then there'll be talk of a revival, and we can all talk again next week about what an absolute shit show it is.
Well, they've also, after this Newcastle game, they've got a lot of tough games in a row, so we'll see what happens. And actually, the game might be set up for the likes of Sam Maximum and maybe even Ryan Fraser to hit them on the break if they do have a lot of the ball. Right, that's all we got time for this week, Sarah. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you guys at home for watching. You might have noticed there that I gave you 4 betting tips. If you feel like backing all 4 of those as a 4-way accumulator, you can do. The odds for that are below now. And if one of those results lets you down, so you just get 3 of the 4, first of all, apologies. But second of all, Paddy Power will give you your money back as a free bet. So good lads, Paddy Power. That's the show for today, though. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email. It's the editor at football365.com. This has been Big Weekend, brought to you by Paddy Power and, I think, Tariq Lamptey. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye-bye.